What's up, everybody? It's me, Brian Sperduti from Genesis Personal Training, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how simple math can save your macros. Now, I incorporate flexible dieting with my clients due to the fact that it cuts down on binging and people get to fit in low nutrient dense foods along with their high nutrient dense foods, which I recommend fitting in a lot of high nutrient dense foods, but don't give up on your fun foods like the Pop-Tarts and the Swedish Fish and the Twizzlers and things like that. But every once in a while, someone will track something wrong or binge and put those numbers into MyFitnessPal or My Macros Plus and notice that their numbers are just blown out of the water, which may happen. It does happen. But I just want to go over a few options you have when that does happen. It's not a time to wave the white flag and say, well, my day's blown, I'm just going to binge the rest of the day. That's really not how it works. Remember, whether you're setting up a nutrition plan for yourself or you're working with a coach, you're working with an allotted amount of macronutrients, which equal calories, and that's the way we track our weight loss, by those numbers and what deficit that we're in. What I recommend to my clients is if you have a bad day and your tracking's really off, what I would do is wake up in the morning, do your business, whatever you do in the morning, weigh yourself, then email your coach with all your information, your numbers from the day before, and then you and your coach can come up with a game plan. For example, let's just say you went over your carbohydrates by 100. Okay, let's say you were allotted 200, you went over by 100. You can contact your coach, and your coach may say, hey, you know what, why don't we just deduct 25 grams of carbs for the next 4 days, and that'll still keep us within our deficit. And what the interesting thing is, when you're working with clients, everybody's their own case study, and your coach may say, hey, don't worry about it, just brush it off and move on. But if it's just a minor amount you went over in certain macronutrients, I would just deduct them from the next day or the day after that. If it's a lot, if you really blew it out of the water, then I would just deduct for a couple days. Like I said, with the example of if you went over by 100, just deduct 25 grams of carbs for the next 4 days. Same thing with fat and same thing with protein. Always remember, we're looking at the long-term goals here. This isn't a quick fix. This is a lifestyle change, and things do happen. But as long as you have a game plan to incorporate, you'll be okay. We always want to be working within that deficit. We look at it weekly as coaches. We look at your weekly totals. We look at your monthly totals, we look at your 3-month totals, and we have numbers that we come up with, which are, let's put it this way, they're very educated guesses, and as much data as we have helps us figure out how your body's going to react to them. And that's why we need that data, so we don't just want to blow it. We want you to keep track of your numbers, and like I said, if you have an issue where you do go over, contact your coach, and I'm sure they'll explain to you what to do. If you're doing this on your own, an easy step would just be to simply deduct from whatever macronutrient you went over the next couple days. That's not a big deal. Also, if you, like I said, if you didn't go over by a lot, then you can just simply, deduct from the next day. So I don't want you guys to binge. I don't want you guys to go crazy. I just want to cut a quick video on simple math. It's just math. It's subtraction and addition and looking at the bigger picture. Okay? I want you guys to have a Merry Christmas and enjoy the highlights of my power upper and lower days that should be following now.
Chad, let's go. Go. Wow.